Hello, girlies! It's Monday again.
Bloody Monday.
I know, we're bloody here.
I know.
Katie's had a toast this morning.
Me toast. I defrosted it in the toaster.
She did,
now.
yeah. Feeling great. Had a good banana this morning, feeling good. Few nuts.
Yeah,
yep.
a day.
Oh,
Start
absolutely,
right.
yeah. Get it all mixing, all right?
Yeah.
Actually, it's been a bit slow in that department the last few days. I'm telling you, Katie, I need something to get it churning.
Time will tell, yeah.
Time will tell,
You
but
could pop
also...
a flaxseed.
Oh, I could.
Prunes.
Oh no, I had an awful experience with prunes. Went on a DVX. No, I didn't. Lie. Barefaced lying.
Liar.
Went to Battlefields with my school and bought like a whole tub of prunes because I thought healthy bitch. Right here, ate them all. Shat myself on the bus. I'm telling you, I did. I'm telling you.
You didn't. No, you didn't.
You got to stay clear from the bloody prunes.
Oh my God, what a journey we've got.
Guys, welcome to Monday. What an introduction that was. Wasn't it bloody lovely? I know, I'm telling you. Go away from the prunes.
Stay clear.
How are we feeling today? How are you feeling on Monday? Fresh week.
Oh, I'm ready to get back on it. I'm feeling in better health. Fine fettle.
Yeah, you're feeling back. Feeling back.
Might step foot back in the gym. Haven't seen her in a while.
No, it's been a week since I've done my half marathon.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, feeling strong. Did a marathon yesterday.
Yeah.
Feeling better than ever.
Did it in 2 hours?
Yeah, did it 2 hours.
Sleep.
1 hour. Yeah, come on. Got this going. Right, we've got such an exciting episode. So I think we should just crack on, okay? Tell me your mantra for this week.
My mantra's actually quite simple.
Oh,
It's
simple and sweet. Love it.
It's take a breath.
Okay.
Something that my teachers keep saying, which I keep being like, yeah, okay, like I am. And they're like, no, a proper breath. And I'm like...
Yeah.
And it really makes all the difference.
I'm telling you,
From
you all take the piss of me for doing my size, kitty size they call it, because apparently I go, but I'm telling you, if I'm feeling stressed or even dehydrated or whatever, I'll just do like a really big breath and all my stress is gone. So I'm loving take a breath.
Disappears.
Take a breath.
Honestly, breathe in the positivity.
Have you felt quite stressed this week?
Not necessarily stressed, but it's so funny that when teachers, like if we're doing dance and movement and stuff, they can see you're holding tension. Even if I don't feel like I'm personally holding tension, like they'll come up to you and be like, breathe. And I'm like,
oh, okay.
And it's really, really strange. But I've just been breathing a lot this week.
Yeah, you've just been breathing out. Yeah. She's got her inhaler with her. She's having a great time. Okay, so my mantra this week, I visualise my higher self and start showing up as her.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm not being funny. So I just feel like when I want my friends to think Kitty or people like directors or Kitty I'm thinking I want no last name. I'm like Beyonce over here. I want Kitty. Yeah. I'm wanting confidence. Yeah. I'm wanting class. I'm wanting kindness. So if I show up with confidence, class, maybe not always class, but you know, and kindness, shit myself on the bus wasn't really classy, but you get what I mean. But I just feel it's so important to kind of remind yourself of those qualities because those qualities are also things that I appreciate in friendships.
Yes.
So you're one of the kindest people I know. Aww. And you're always so welcoming and positive, and that's the kind of energy I want to give to people as well. Yeah. So if I'm kind of thinking, come on, Kit, you can do this today, then I'll give it out as well.
I find you channel like different elements of people in your life that you like respect and love so much.
Oh my God, so true.
I find socially I'm like channel a bit of Kit.
Oh,
I know.
Oh my God, you laughing?
I know.
You just want to move it. Yeah. Okay, tell me your song for this week. Sing it to me, girl.
My song. It's a bit of a rogue one, but it came on like automatic shuffle on Apple Music.
Okay.
Hey Mambo
Italiana.
I was walking over the bridge.
Yeah.
And I was literally like, I feel like I'm in a film right now.
It's a tune.
And it is an absolute, I hadn't heard it in ages. Absolute tune.
It's such a good one.
What's your song?
I'll tell you my song, my friend. My song is... What the hell, Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so... It's such a tune. And I also feel like it's a cheeky little hint for the episode. What the hell, how we feel in our 20s, but also how we're feeling about like day to day. Sometimes I say, what the hell? Life in general, what the hell? But it's just such a good tune. Yes. I had it on in the shower and I was just like, oh my God, like, I'm living. Yeah. I was just like, I'm fucking living right now. Recommendation this week. Kate and I went to go see Saltburn.
What the fuck? What the hell?
What the fucking hell? What the hell? So Jacob Elordi and what's his name? Barry Keegan. Let's say Barry Keegan. Yeah. Everyone knows who.
Yeah, they know who we are.
Wow. So what I'm saying, just don't bring your mother, don't bring your father. Don't go with your respectives, okay? Because it's sexual.
It is a bit
very and to the point where I think I'm quite rogue. Whereas I genuinely think I'm quite right, big dog. I genuinely think I'm pretty rogue. But I'm telling you, I was a prude. I sat there, I was shocked.
Yeah. You were next to me and you were like, ugh.
I feel like it's, there was a lot going on.
There was some choices.
It's a recommendation because it's a psychological thriller.
I thought it was the best I've seen in a while.
It's kind of something really unexpected. The cinematography is gorgeous. There's a lot set in Oxford, so there's lovely cinematography in there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on, so I think definitely go have a little watch, see what you think. Lots of twists and turns. I'd love to hear what everyone has to say about the film.
Yeah. It's something that you still think about, and that's what the director was like, I want people to be thinking about this for a while, and I still think about it, and we saw it last week.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
and it's brilliant.
And I'm like, this was just such a good film.
It was brilliant. So that's our recommendation. Make sure you go see it. Okay, guys, so we've got a really, really special guest today, and we're so excited. We are really excited to welcome our guest, Elle Wilmot, who is the founder of Truly 20's. Welcome.
Hi,
here she is. Oh my gosh, it's so nice to have you here.
Can I just say, you guys are amazing. I'm just watching you in awe. Like, wow.
Thank you. Poor Elle's had to sit here for the last 5 minutes while we chat shit. Probably listening to me with the prunes.
I'm just laughing. So.
It's so nice to have you here.
We
met you when we did a creator mixer, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we'd followed your account for quite a while.
Yeah.
So we did have a bit of a fun girl moment. Like Katie nudged me. She was like, "What the fuck, Elle's here."
You were on our mood board. We made a mood board.
Stop it.
You were. You genuinely were.
Yeah. Wow,
we were so excited. We were like, right, if we have a few aims, who do we like to get on the pod? Elle.
Yeah.
And here you are today.
Was this in 2023?
2023, Elle.
We couldn't it close, but
yeah. Only had a few more weeks, but we're here.
God, I was taking my time.
Yeah. I know. So how are you feeling? How do you feel to be here?
Oh, amazing. Yeah. It's been like a busy week, which I'm sure we'll get into, but
of course.
It's just the best end to the week.
And you've done podcasts before, haven't you? Come on.
A few. Not as many as I'd like to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done a few.
Oh, it's so nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's crack onto it.
Let's crack into it. You were the founder of Truly 20's, which we've said we followed for such a long time.
Yeah, we love
it. I'm sure you're so proud of the community that you've created.
Yeah.
So you started Truly 20's in 2020.
Yes.
What a year.
Yeah.
What a year.
I know. Yeah. It was... Yeah, I started it in 2020, but it was supposed to be a podcast. I say this every time, but we went into lockdown and I really wanted to do it in person like this. So I just focused on making the community, and I'm really glad I went that way actually, because I've had a retreat this week with 25 girls, and just getting to see the community and how much people need it. I'm glad it went that way. But I made it in 2020 just to kind of find my creativity again, because I couldn't find a job after uni, and then it's kind of just taken a whole twist and turn of its own. I don't know if that's a saying. But now possibly going to do it full time at some point.
My gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I know you wanted to ask Elle about Truly 20's.
Yeah, so for the listeners, if you can explain what Truly 20's is, what you've done over the past 3 years, the community that you've created.
Yeah, well, it's a safe space for people in their 20s. It started with very different beginnings. I just wanted to make relatable, fun content, and it is still that. But as soon as I made the Facebook groups, I realised how many people were feeling lonely, and kind of just wanted to end the stigma around being lonely in your 20s, because people just think it's like, oh, you've just never had a girl group, or it's not always that. Some people haven't found their girl group for no reason, no fault of their own, but some people just move into new cities and just need a new group. And also people's chapters are very different now. I mean, some of my friends I don't see that much. I'm very lucky. I've always had a big group of girls, but they're all moving on to different chapters now. So actually I'm starting to feel a little bit lonely. So I need my group now more than ever, because I've got people having babies, people moving in with their boyfriends, and it's slowly you just start losing that not friendship, but the time you get to spend with your friends. So I just realized now my aim is I want to make a dent within the loneliness epidemic, because I think it's becoming a big issue for our age range. I think when you think of a lonely person, you think of like someone
elderly,
and it's just not the case. Like our age is, I think some stats show that our age between 18 to 25 is the most lonely.
Interesting.
It does vary, and I'm wanting to do a proper deep dive on it one day, but it's definitely one of the biggest areas of concern.
And I also think that COVID was a huge fallback on that as well. I mean, we'll get into it in a second, but when we moved to London, we were really lucky that we were in a big halls. So that's where I met Katie, that's where I met my boyfriend, which is now my community. My community in London are those people that I met during that time. However, I had friends who moved to London for uni and were in a dorm on their own. Everything was online. And I remember one of my friends just saying to me, London is awful. And they said, I am so lonely. I've never been so lonely in my life. And for you to be able to create a space for that where it's normalized, because I think she came to me really scared, thinking, am I the only one? And have you found a lot of people come to you with those similar feelings?
Wow. A lot of people come in the retreat. A lot of people came because they wanted to make new friends. Some people haven't had the university experience because that's what they didn't choose, and feel like, have they made a mistake with that? I don't personally think so. Like it shouldn't be a situation where just because you didn't go to uni you don't have friends. It should be easier to make connections, but it's not. I do think COVID hasn't helped as well, because I think friendships start to dwindle sometimes. It just whether they weren't true friends or if it just the space and time,
it's hard to connect.
So people are kind of having to start again. So a lot of people are struggling, and a lot of people are beating themselves up about it and just making thinking that they've done something wrong. Like the female friendships is a massive trend on TikTok at the minute. Like
I mean, have you seen that sound? Like, I've got my girls. Is it Rachel Green? From Friends.
And it's like some people I haven't got my girls.
I haven't got that.
And then I see some of the comments sometimes being like, I'm always wary of people that have never had their girls though.
Oh, come on, that's so hard.
You can't stereotype
win, can
everyone like that. Just you can't. You can't. If you did that, then some people just could be alone forever.
And also, I think it's really hard to if you haven't had that for a long time, then it's really hard to trust. It must be
exactly.
You know, and I know a few girls where they mainly have male friends and they feel more comfortable in a male environment, and that's okay. But also you can't be judged for that. You can't then isolate them if they feel that way.
No, it's so true. And everyone that came to the retreat this week was just the most lovely group of girls ever. Like the people I did the retreat with have done quite a few retreats, and they kept pulling me aside and being like, we've never had such a polite, lovely and supportive group of girls come together.
Gosh.
They've normally have like not elderly, like 30s, 40s, 50s, like elder. And they were like, this is just something we've not witnessed before.
Wow.
So just so supportive, and I think it's needed.
I mean, and it's great. It's completely amazing that you've created an online community for people to all talk about this. And now to create events for it as well. Where people can now connect and see each other. It goes on to our next thing that I'm really interested to talk to you about, and it's about why you set up what you did. Katie and I have our reasons for setting up the Debrief, why we did it, and venturing back to the COVID days, we moved to London, and when we first moved there, we were at drama school together, and bloody hell, we navigated it just on our own. We found it so kind of isolating, scary. We had no older people to turn to and say, how did you navigate this stage? I was 18, you were 19, so we're babies. Very overwhelming. And we said to each other, we want to set up something where we can talk and girls can be like, oh my gosh, you're going through the same thing as I am. You know, I'm not on my own. And we started to learn more together that it wasn't just COVID. It was actually more people out there that felt this way, that had come way before the pandemic. And I'm really interested to know that why you're influencing a lot of people. You're on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and over those different platforms, you have 341,000 followers. That is a lot of people, Elle. You know, we were absolutely blown away by your following and the amount of people that you influence and help. And I want to know the reason why you felt you had to share content and create a community and a safe place for these people. Because you're influencing a hell of a lot.
I think I remember when I came, I had a great 3 years at uni. Don't get me wrong, the first year I didn't enjoy. I nearly left. But
interesting.
I left the 3 years like with friends I'm still friends with, a group of 10, which is really
Oh,
lucky.
wow.
A big group of girls.
Oh.
But when I left, I wanted to stay in Leeds, so I went to University of Leeds. I couldn't find a job, and it was getting close to the point where I was like, I'm narrowing myself down to staying in Leeds. I might as well just look anywhere.
Right.
So I left the house that the girls were going to stay in. I was like, look, I'm just going to move home.
Yeah.
I'd love to stay, but I can't find a job, and I need to broaden the search.
Okay.
So I moved back home, which was never part of the plan, but like I didn't mind as much.
Yeah.
But moving back home, I wasn't even getting responses of rejection. You know, you don't even.
Wow,
You know,
it's
those jobs
hard.
that
Yeah,
don't even
they
respond
don't.
to you.
They
It's
say,
like,
unfortunately, a lot of people have applied.
yeah,
so we
but
can't
no,
get.
but like some just don't even send that.
Wow.
Like, and
okay.
I'm just like,
That's hard.
just spent a few hours on that, but thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Just hours of my life
yeah.
and no response. But I was getting none of that. I was in theatre, so I was starting to realise it's very much like who you know.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was just starting, I don't know, I just felt this, I started to spiral a lot.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm getting no responses. I started to work out like a timeline. I was like, right, I'm not going to get a job in the next 3 months because it's going to take me 2 weeks to even hear back.
Yeah.
Probably 2 weeks for an interview.
Yeah.
If I don't get it, and then I'm going to have to start again. And I started working out like, I'm only going to get to where I want to be on like an entry-level salary at like 26 at this rate. And I was just like, it's going to take me a year in one job, and then I'll have to try and move at this.
Yeah.
And I was starting to spiral, and I couldn't
Panic.
find,
big panic
years.
years. Yeah.
And then I remember sitting in my room like, oh, is this what the rest of my life's going to be like? Like,
Wow,
not
okay.
like getting rejections, but like just working, stressing, responsibilities. Like, I'm not going to get to go out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday ever again.
Yeah.
And it just like dwelled on me, and I was like, whoa, this is it. Like, I think I've peaked. Like, my peak years are over. That's how I felt.
Okay. Interesting.
and
How
then-
old were you at the time? Can I ask?
21. I just
21.
left. 2021. I just
Okay.
left uni.
Okay.
And yeah, I just felt like all my friends felt the same. And then I was going to make the podcast, and I'd interviewed for BBC Radio.
Okay.
And I got down to the final 5, and I just loved
Wow.
it so much because I'd not had any creative, like juices flowing. I was like, right, I'm going to carry on with this.
Yeah.
But then lockdown hit, so we just carried on.
Yeah.
That
With
killer.
the community,
Okay.
yeah. So I just, that's the reason I made it, just that
Wow.
spiraling feeling, and I knew everyone felt the same.
Okay.
But like I said, it started just to be like, just to talk about that. I never thought it would be like events and like retreats
Yeah.
and like all the other places it could go. I just thought it would be like a page like to support a podcast, and the podcast was never made.
Wow, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
did you feel at the time that this was going to be something that you were going to continue with throughout a career? Or was it something to settle your mind at the time?
I think also the other side of it was I always wanted something of my own.
Okay.
I always grew up watching
Okay.
like The Apprentice and
Yes. Yeah.
Dragon's Den, and I knew
Yeah.
I wanted to own a business.
Okay.
I came up with loads of ideas and then never like followed through with them. But this one, at the time, I don't think I knew it was going to be forever.
Okay.
But I knew I always wanted a successful business. So as much as like this is for the community and giving back, I also really want a successful business
Of course
as well.
you do. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's something I've always wanted. And if this isn't the successful business, I don't know what, because I've put, it's like
Yeah.
my baby.
Yeah.
It's my baby at this point.
Yeah.
I've got no other
Yeah.
ideas for anything
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was, I didn't see it going, like, lasting forever, I guess, at the
Okay.
time. I think once TikTok started blowing up, I was
Yes.
like, oh, maybe this could be something that lasts forever.
And it's so interesting that you say the baby thing, because we refer to it all the time,
Yeah.
that it
It
is our
is.
baby.
Yeah.
And when you put so much into it, and there's so much behind the scenes, people
Yes.
think, oh, Elle's just posted a clip.
Oh my gosh,
No.
no.
I have organised the time slot in which I have to do that. Also
Yeah.
the content that I'm going to create.
If you drop the ball, then like
Yeah.
the hype's gone. But obviously it's not the hardest job. I'm just
Yes,
saying
yeah.
it is just like only you can do it.
Yes.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that love for it, if you don't have the passion,
Yeah.
why are you doing it?
Yeah.
Because it's not gonna. We spoke earlier just
Yeah.
before Elle arrived, and we said to each other, the greatest content, the greatest podcasts,
Yeah.
the greatest influencers are the ones
Yeah.
that love what they're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Whether it is nonsense or whether it is thought provoking or
Yeah.
you know anything it is, if you're thinking this is bloody brilliant and you believe in yourself,
yeah.
it's going far.
How did you feel when you turned 20? Because we had I would say we had different experiences, because I was very underwhelmed when I turned 20.
Yeah.
And I also didn't see further into being like, this is the second, actually, is this the third decade of my life? Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Grandma.
mental maths. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
But I remember being really underwhelmed. The only thing I was excited about was like my 21st. But then I was like, well, that's a year away. It felt like how 19 felt.
Yeah.
Kind of almost like a transitional year. But you had quite a different experience, didn't you?
I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified because I loved being 19.
Yeah.
18, 19, oh my God, you know, hot shit.
Yeah.
I met you when I was 18. I met my boyfriend, like great group of friends, moved to London, left my boarding school. Oh my God, living my best life.
Yeah.
Didn't have to do A-levels. You know, it was like a year of chaos, but of like absolute fun. And 20, I was terrified. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm an adult. Now here comes responsibility. So does this mean I pay for things? Like, is mum and dad still going to help me? You know, there was a lot of unknown. I wasn't exactly excited to turn 20. I felt this is gonna sound really bloody annoying, old. I felt, oh my gosh, I'm not a child anymore. Because 19, you know, I'm thinking, oh, I'm still a teenager. 20. Here it comes. How did you feel? Did those thoughts sit with you as well, or were you different?
I'm just trying to think back. I don't remember any panic. Like,
interesting.
Which is crazy. I guess I'm August 31st, so I'm like at the end of the school year. So
yes.
I'm thinking if I've got my maths right, 20. It's so underwhelming that I don't even remember. But I think I'd left uni and I was looking for a job at this point, and then I was 20. Oh, was I? No, that's wrong. I think I was 21 when I left uni. But either way, it was just underwhelming for me. Like I didn't panic about it. For me, I didn't feel like whoa of the 20s or the adulting until I'd left uni and I couldn't find a job, and then this spiraling like came, because August I was still like having fun. It was summer for me. Like September, October, even though we're not in school years anymore, I was like, okay, I've got to get a job. And then it was just as time went on that I started to realize the responsibilities. But 20 I was fine. 25 on the other hand, no.
Oh, interesting. How did you feel at 25 then?
I honestly thought this quarter life crisis stuff was like a load of
bollocks. You can swear.
A load of bullshit, but it wasn't. I guess I expected it coming because I was the youngest and a few of my friends had already been 25, so they'd already had the quarter life crisis. And I was like, nah, I'll be fine. And then literally 2 months before, I don't know, I just started to deep everything. We did a quarter life crisis workshop on the retreat, and everyone was speaking about like what it was for them, and mine was just questioning everything about myself. Like, do I want to be in London? Like, who am I hanging around with? Like, what's my purpose? Like I don't know, just like, where do I want to be? Like every single thing I was questioning, and I've not got the answer yet. I'm still kind of in the quarter life crisis. I'm just not really panicking about it anymore. But I'm still like,
that's so interesting.
Everything, just questioning like any little thing. I was like, am I doing it right? Is this what I actually want? And just it was horrible.
And where did that come from? Did you feel it was the questioning, maybe friendships and yourself? Was that a lot of pressure from your own internal monologue? I mean, our biggest demon is our internal monologue. Was that what you found was your biggest competitor, or was it maybe the people around you that were making you feel that way?
No, I think it was more like comparisons and stuff that was making me like, did I want to live at home like with my home friends, because I was like questioning, am I spending enough time with them? Like, they're my like longest like friends, and they're all in relationships. If I moved home, I'd be like the only one. And then it was like, just in London, like, do I want to live like in London? Do I want to go to a rural life? You know, all that stuff you question. For me, I've made it a lot harder to be in my 20s because I've made a whole brand around it. But like for me, it was like, I'm halfway now. Like you need to speed up. Like you've got 5 years left. Although I don't. Like obviously, there's always going to be people in their 20s. But for me, I'm like, as much as I'm not scared about turning 30. I think it was this. All my friends are in relationships. I'm not in one. When will I be in one? I'm getting closer to 30, even though I shouldn't care about it. And then, it was just things like that.
Comparison is the biggest killer. Completely. And, we talk of it so much because you all have different strengths. And you all have different ways of being a star. But that doesn't define whether you're in a relationship or whether you're making more money.
No.
But it's really hard. It's a real killer, because you do see your friends and, they're making this amount of money, or should I be? Oh, shit, they've bought a house. Oh my God.
All of that's starting to happen now. It's this age now.
It's that age.
But I was speaking about it at the workshop, and I said, I've never been someone, luckily, like that uses social media or compares my like my body image or anything like that.
Good.
I do compare lifestyles though. So I'm like, okay, you're at this point. Why am I not at this point? Oh, you look like you're making this much money. Why am I not making that much money? And then, but at the workshop, what was interesting is 2 of the girls said back to me that it was really interesting to hear me say that, because they compared themselves to me, and they were like, we didn't do anything in lockdown, and we just sat and did nothing in lockdown, and you've made this. And I was like, it made me realize I want to be a bit more real on my Instagram, because this is like very much still in the works, and it's very stressful, and like it's not making me money, like it's nothing crazy yet, but it's like made me realize, okay, if they're comparing themselves to me, other people are comparing themselves to them, and I'm comparing myself to someone, and everyone's just doing it. Like anyone you look up to is like comparing themselves, because everyone's feeling that way.
Everyone's on their own journey, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it can sometimes be complete day to day. Flip-flop, you know, I feel this way, I feel that way. But I mean, it's why we do the mantras. We do it, we've done it for years, ever since we met each other. We have our downs, so nice. we say to each other, you know, well, I've had such a bad image day, or, you know, oh my God, like, I'm just feeling so emotional. And we're like, what do you want to feel right now? Okay? Without being a twat, what do you want to feel? In case it's like, you know what, I just don't want to feel emotional. I just want, you know, or whatever. And we've done it, and we do it daily to each other. We do it to our friends that are around. And yes, I'm sure it can be highly patronizing at some points, but we do personally feel the benefits of it.
I feel like it just settles your mind in the best way, because I completely get you in terms of, especially online, when you're seeing so much online, which obviously is like a highlight reel, and which you have to tell yourself. But I mean, the amount of times I've come to you, there are people like people I know don't know as well anymore getting in relationships, someone from school I know getting engaged, they bought a house, and I'm like, oh my God, like, I had mac and cheese for dinner. Like,
nothing wrong with mac and cheese.
Nothing wrong.
I'm like, oh God. And it is just, it gets a bit stressful, because once you start thinking it, like especially at night, oh God,
spiraling. Literally,
so easily done.
I think as well, there's so much. This is generalized. I'm queen of generalization, by the way. So, you know, we always say it. With women, I think there's such a pressure of comparison. I'm sure there is with men as well, because we are so different in our ways as we are. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. So we definitely have different things as well. And not one is more harder than the other. However, there's a lot to consider. Whether you do want kids. Whether that's going to be in your 20s. And then if it's in your 20s, does that mean you're limiting yourself? Does that mean you then don't have a career because you're looking after the kid? Do I have enough money to then have a nanny? But then if I have...
so much to
there's so much to kind of derail. And fascinating that you said 25 was your moment. Because I'm 21, you're 22. So we're kind of at our start of our 20s. And really interesting to hear from, we've got quite close friends that are 27, 28, 29. And what they say. And they're like, fuck, I can't wait to turn 30. You know, or like...
30 is apparently the new 20.
30 is apparently the new 20,
like,
you know?
just have less pressures.
But
even you guys saying like your ages, even on the retreat, people were like, I'm getting to a point where I'm normally always the oldest one. And that's like scary to me, because I'm not normally, but I feel like I'm 21. And then when I'm like, I'm 25, how old are you? 20, 21. I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I used to be that age. And like, I don't know, it's just
so
bizarre.
True. There's such a pressure to have your kind of little group. And that little group is, you're all the same age and you're all doing the same thing. But oh my God, we've got friends, one of my friends are just turned 30, and we're at such different points in our life. However, if you've got that friendship, then that's great.
Exactly. One of my friends has had a baby. He'll be turning 1 literally this weekend.
My gosh.
And like, we don't see each other anywhere near as much, but like, obviously because she's a mum now, but does not change any of the friendship. But when I talk about the group, I mean like, as more people have babies and stuff, we will still always have the strongest connection. I'm very much a believer of like, I cannot see you in like months, and we will still have
complete
but because I can't see you as much, I'm gonna have to fill that time, because I don't have a kid, or I don't have a boyfriend to fill that time. So that's where I think the group's like really valuable. But I've got my friends having had a baby, and it's been the best though to see like her grow into a mum, because learning, and we're learning through her, like for whenever or if we want kids.
That happens.
So it's wild.
We were really interested because we all have something in common, and that's like an interest in theatre. Katie does musical theatre,
Yeah.
I do acting, and
Amazing.
you did theatre and performance at the University of Leeds.
Yes, I did.
And I'm so interested because you have found from that time in your life, from graduating, you found your passion and your interest.
Yeah.
And you spoke earlier as to why you are where you are right now.
Yeah.
But how did you navigate your way through studying theatre to then founding your own online community and now creating events and having 340,000 followers? Where did that come from? Did you know that that's something you wanted to do from when you were at university?
Yeah, I think so. I knew at university when I did theatre at GCSE.
Okay.
And it's the only thing I enjoyed.
Yeah.
I knew I was never going to go into theatre. Like, I can't do accents. I'm not great.
Okay.
Like, I was okay. And I was a good performer because I could dance, I could sing.
Okay.
I used to be able to sing until I damaged my throat. Now I can't sing. I had notes for a bit.
Oh my
pitch
gosh.
perfect.
Oh my gosh.
And now, if ever I have a drink, it goes very low. So, yeah. So that was
Well, you can do different voices then, can't you?
Exactly.
You could do like an act of a man and a woman.
Literally. But I'd lose the high pitch bit, so no, you'd need a week between those.
Okay.
But no, I knew I was like, okay, I was not like, and I feel like you have to be quite real with yourself in acting. Like, it's a very hard industry.
Yeah.
I wasn't willing to kind of put myself through it because I knew I was okay, like, and that was fine. But I loved it, and there was nothing else I would have done, and I would still go back and do the same course. And even though I've not used it, I would still go and do that course. Like, I think, I think it taught me so much more than just the degree.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I know it's like a lot of student debt, but I met all my friends there. But I just knew I wasn't going to do acting, and if I wanted to do anything else, it would have been directing. But that was very much a who you know, and I think it's very much a who you know kind of industry in general sometimes, but that one especially. And like runner roles are very hard, and they're very in London. You can't really live on them sometimes. So I don't know. I think I kind of sat back and I thought, what am I going to do? Maybe I can get to the directing at some point. But also, part of me is I've always wanted to make money. It's big. Like, I don't know why I've always had like this hustle drive to like want to make money. Like, and I said this on my LinkedIn recently. I feel like people that make podcasts and like businesses are always taught to like, you've got to don't make it for money, or you're doing it for the wrong reasons. You're allowed to want to make money. Like, I've always wanted to have a successful business, and I'm just lucky that it brings a lot of value to people my age as well. And it's like 2 in 1. But I always had that drive, and I mean, acting and it's quite a hard industry to make a lot of money. It's kind of ironic because I was like, I don't want that. The life of being in the industry where you don't get paid some months and other months you do, but it's the exact situation I'm in now because it's very much reliant on other people. It's not like a stable job. So ironically I've ended up doing the similar thing, and it's not yet where I see it to be, but hopefully one day it'll be where I want it.
You're still doing something creative. You know, you're still in that creative industry. What advice would you give to uni students that kind of coming out of uni that potentially are not going to do what their degree is, but something within the same industry? How do you find what you want to do?
Are we talking creative?
Yeah.
Easy answer for me. I think, well, it doesn't matter with your degree at all. I always say that, like asking, is this about creative? Because I always go, doesn't matter about your degree. It does if you want to be a doctor and stuff. Okay? With creative roles, it really doesn't. I worked at a nuclear research centre when I left uni.
Wow.
That's how little creative it was.
Oh my
It wasn't creative at all, but it was the only role I could land. It was marketing.
Okay.
And I was, as much as everyone was really lovely, I always say this because I'm like, what if they ever watch this and they're offended? But
like,
it wasn't me.
bitch.
I'm sorry, it wasn't me. And I wasn't enjoying it. And I just needed to get into something more creative.
Okay.
What I did was I used LinkedIn, and I think LinkedIn is the best
It's
platform
phenomenal.
ever. It's changed my life. I thought to myself, I wrote down 5 places, my dream places that I'd want to be, and I can't remember them all, but TikTok was one at the time. YouTube's always been one. I can't remember the other ones. I think BBC Radio was one at the time because I wanted to be a radio host. And I was like, how am I going to stand out? So for TikTok, I made a whole CV on TikTok, so 9 videos about why they should hire me.
Oh, amazing.
Now I don't think that's so original, but like back at the time, I'd not seen anyone do it, but I thought someone must have done it. No one had done it.
Wow.
And I sent it to the top people at TikTok on LinkedIn. One person responded like with loads of criticism, and then I was like, I felt really defeated, but I just kept going. And then Neil Borman, who's like head of Creative Lab, Creative Lab doesn't exist anymore at TikTok, but at the time, like third person in the UK or something to join TikTok, responded to me and was like, just gassing me up like,
this is something.
I've never seen anything like this. And then he tried to get me into 2 full-time positions, but like I didn't have that. I didn't have the experience. And then the graduate scheme came up and I just knew I was going to get onto it because I'd been trying so long. I think they were annoyed at me at that point. Like, we've got to let this girl. So I got onto the first ever TikTok graduate program that way.
Wow.
So I think if you can do anything to stand up, whether it's like a creative CV, if you can, like, I'm always impressed by, I think someone once, I can't remember the brand, but paid to take over the SEO ad that searched. So say it was like somewhere like Boots or something. They paid to have the first ad. So that their CV was there when anyone typed in Boots. So then it was like instant. People were like, if that's the kind of role you're going for.
I see.
Very
Interesting.
clever.
Okay.
It just shows your skills in like a creative way. It wasn't Boots, by the way. I just was like trying to give an example. But if not, I think if you can't think of anything, just posting on LinkedIn and making a personal brand for yourself, like will get you miles ahead. Like I got made redundant earlier this year and I wasn't worried at all because I was on LinkedIn, like, and I knew I knew that my posts would get me something. Like I wouldn't have nothing.
Someone would reach out. Something would,
even if it wasn't necessarily something I knew I wouldn't be without a job. And that was only because even though I was at like my dream job, I was posting still in case I ever wasn't there.
Brilliant.
Not that I ever thought I wouldn't be. I never thought that would happen.
But just to have your own back.
And I was just really happy that I'd continued to do that. It's my biggest advice would be getting on LinkedIn. It seems like it's saturated now, but it's not. Like I think it's something like really silly, like, and tiny, the amount of people that actually post. So many people on it, but not that many people post. It looks like it.
Completely. And I've literally only recently just got on LinkedIn. So I spoke to my housemate. We're both in very different industries. And we were talking about like jobs and how it's also different. And he said, like, just get yourself on LinkedIn. And for me as a creative, I thought, LinkedIn's for like doctors, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, that's not me. And he just said, no.
You
like,
can make it your own.
I see so many creators. So I thought, oh, sure. Got myself on there. And it's so interesting how many experiences these last few weeks have come to me. You know, just through liking something or commenting something or searching a few things up. So I think the advice of LinkedIn is really, really great.
And I think with LinkedIn, don't expect something straight away. Like this connection I made with Neil Borman was like, obviously he tried to get me those 2 full roles and I didn't get them. It was like a year and a half in, but like,
wow, okay.
Like it was a lot of things on LinkedIn for me. It's like they come around full circle. Like I did a bit of an internship at uni and then they wanted to sponsor a Truly 20's event 3 years later, and it's like,
oh my god,
you just gotta
3 years later. Wow.
It's wild. So I think I think LinkedIn, just making it your own and sending the connection requests. Like I've been really scared to do that, and then recently for Truly 20's I've been sending loads of like connection requests
and messages. What do you think about messaging on LinkedIn?
Always send a note when you're sending a connection request because people get thousands. Like,
send a note. What do you mean?
So when you connect with someone on LinkedIn, sometimes it just sends a connection request. So and it comes with nothing, but you can like make sure you send a note with it. So it'll come up with like a new connection request and they'll send a little message. You only get so many characters, but like just briefly saying like why I want to connect with you or like something you've done that interests me. Or like if you've got something that's valuable for them, putting it in that first sentence and then they'll definitely respond.
And you find that gets more connections better.
100%. People get hundreds. I get hundreds of connection requests a day. If people don't send a message, I'm not, unless it's like someone with
on
a
the
job
radar
title that I really like need to like get in, like connect with. I'm not like there's just too many. I don't even filter through them like sometimes because there's just so many.
Oh my gosh.
And that's not just like, that's not just me. It's most people get so many a day.
So you've got
to
stand great
out.
advice.
Just stand out.
Stand out.
You're creatives. You know how to stand out.
Yeah, exactly.
So on Truly 20's, you have anonymous confessions that you do. So people often write in concerns about relationships, friendships, job hunting, income, and what you refer to as the panic years. So what are the most common or recurring things that people often message in about? And what is your biggest advice?
I think relationships is the most common.
Is it?
To the point I had to make another Facebook group just for relationships because it was winding some people up that the people were posting so much about it.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of like people feeling guilty that they might still like someone else if they're in relationships.
Ooh.
But
interesting.
I think people beat themselves up about like having emotions, but like that's just an emotion,
so
unfortunately.
Human.
It's so human, and you feel really guilty about it, but it's just about how you handle it. And but a lot of people, you can tell they're like writing because they feel so guilty, and they can't tell anyone else. So that's why I love that it's anonymous. But it's nice because sometimes people in the comment section give them a bit of advice, but I'm the least. I can't give advice about relationships. I'm not great at them myself. But yeah, especially with the people that are like wanting to break up and they haven't got the courage. Like I'm the exact same. Like I always wait to be dumped. I can't do it. Like when relationships are over like a year before they're actually like, you know.
Yes.
I hear that so much.
We've spoken about that a lot. Yeah.
But like you don't trust your gut feeling. I'm so guilty of that, but I get a lot of messages about that.
Yeah, it's hard because you overthink so much. I think I'm such an overthinker. So I probably, when I next get in a relationship, will probably be like, is this the right thing?
Yeah.
Whether you know deep
I'm doing
down,
that right now.
but it's also scary.
Yeah.
It's such a vulnerable thing.
It is, yeah.
So it's honestly terrifying. I think relationship pressures, I definitely feel so much now, and I'm 22, but in terms of online dating, stuff like that, the turnover, it's just so, it's not as personal anymore.
Yeah.
And I think there's such a pressure you feel when you see people in relationships, and you're kind of like, oh God, especially we were saying in winter, cuffing season.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting in relationships. You're like, oh God.
I just don't think there's any left.
No, I say this all the time.
Honestly.
Like, all the good
They're
men
gone.
are
They're gone.
They're gone. They've honestly
left.
Literally, they've all disappeared.
You need to go into a lab and just kind of ask them, can you do something for me? Yeah. Do you know what? I don't know if I find it quite reassuring actually that people talk about relationships, because I think relationships have been there since the earth was here, you know, whereas income hasn't, or you know, job hunting hasn't. So I think that relationships I find quite reassuring, because although, you know, I absolutely love my boyfriend, I don't doubt our relationship, but friendships is a massive part of my life. And recently, you know all about this, but I've had a bit of a friendship rejig. And it's really interesting when you kind of sit back and reflect and think, okay, you're not going to be a part of my life anymore. Right. Okay. It is really hard. And my boyfriend has two sisters, and we all kind of talk a lot about relationships and, you know, who's going to get married or who's going to have kids and all that kind of thing. And they're older than him. He's the youngest. And it's so interesting that you do feel pressure even with siblings. You know, oh God, they're in a relationship. Should I be in a relationship? Blah, blah, blah. And even recently, my sister is a queen of relationships. You know, I don't think she's ever been single since she was about 13. She's now single for the first time. She's shutting herself. Whereas now I'm in a relationship, which is a complete rejig. And she's just like, wow, it's really interesting. Now I'm experiencing a new light. But also then there's pressure because my friends and my family love my boyfriend. So then she's, oh, well, I want someone to like my boyfriend. All of this kind of thing. But I think the advice that I would give for these girls in relationships is that friendships is a huge part of life, and that I think sometimes that a relationship is a friendship. And if you can build friendships, that is the most important thing. You know, there's no rush to find a sexual or romantic partner. There is not. You know, because everyone finds someone.
You should prioritize like friendships.
Completely. Completely.
Sure. I'm lucky. My mum's always told me friends first, friends first, friends first. So when I have had relationships, I've had 2 long-term ones, but I think hopefully my friends would say this as well. I think I've been really good at dividing my time and putting my friends first still, and like wanting to actually hang out with my friends even when I've got a partner. So I think finding female friends, like, or just friends, but I think female friendships are powerful. Like, if you can find them. I know it's hard for some people, but like that should be priority.
Completely. I completely agree. And with you saying, oh, I find it a bit stressful when it's like the relationship talk, all that kind of thing. How do you deal with that? Because you have a lot of following. So you will have to answer to them.
I think I've got advice when it comes to like the experiences that I've been through, but normally I hand it out to like the community if not, because I mean, with my page, I'm not trying to like be the all-knowing 20-something. Like I'm working
the bloody oracle.
Literally, I know everything.
I know everything about being 20.
I might just, when I go through stuff, the page kind of goes through it with like that. At some point, when I'm not in my 20s, someone else will like probably take over it for me or something. But like, that's why I speak on the quarter life crisis, because I'm going through it. My page like blew up when I was going through a breakup because so many people could relate to me and I had stuff to say. But I feel so far gone from like the breakup. Like it was so many years ago now that I'm like, I don't know if I would be able to talk on it the same, because at the time you think like your life's ending, and now you look back, you're like, wow, so dramatic. But like, so it's hard to relate to like people like that, because you just want to shake them and be like, do not go back. But I went back so many times. You're
like, past Elle did it so far.
Exactly. I think just always just like being kind to yourself. My biggest advice though is like, if you can listen to your gut, and sometimes your gut's telling you and it takes you a few weeks, but listen to your gut and set yourself a timeline. I always say like, because your brain's always like, oh yeah, but it might have just been a bad week, let's stay together, or like with a friendship, like maybe she's just not being that nice
on the
vibe,
minute.
But just give yourself a point, and if you're still feeling like shit hanging around with them, boyfriend or friendship, at some point give yourself a date, set it in your calendar, and when the alarm goes off you'll be like, that was the date, do I feel any different?
Wow.
But that's when you've got to be brave, and I've never done it and gone, okay, no, I still hate it, let's end it. I'm not been brave enough to do that because I'm too scared of like if they'll get upset and stuff, but no, next time I'm gonna do that.
It's
wow.
such a terrifying thing,
it's terrifying,
like, having those conversations and actively putting yourself first. I find, because I'm very similar to you in the sense that like I would be like, well, this would probably make them feel really shit right now, so do you know what, I'll just not say anything. And I've done that so many times with friends, with boyfriends, and it's just, and you end up feeling like shit, but you're like, well I can deal with it. And it's always, I've recently been in a position where I was like, I'm going to actively put myself first, and it was terrifying. I genuinely was quivering in me little bones.
You actually, do you know what? You've actually had such a journey these past
years. Honestly, I was shaking like
2023 for Katie's been a fucker. Like, it's been huge. She has like overcome so much. Like, no, seriously, I've seen you grow as like a
that's
just
amazing.
Genuinely though. Like when I first met you a few years ago, she was shivering rag. No, she wasn't. But you definitely would not back yourself.
No.
You'd be like, oh, and there was someone that did walk over you, and we've spoken about this a lot. But now I've seen Katie a lot of times just be like, no. And I was, do you know what?
It's terrifying.
Hats off to you, my love, because what growth.
It is, honestly, because I am just a conditioned people pleaser. I remember I used to work in retail. Someone would complain, I'm like, have a free pair of leggings. I'm like, you're just having a bad day, it's fine, just have a free pair of leggings. So it's just one of those things where you're like putting yourself, it was just so, I literally genuinely was nearly sick from the anxiety. Like, I was just like, this is terrifying. But ultimately now I look back and I'm like, that was the best decision I could make. But even then thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that was awful.
Did you say you're 22? Well, like, I feel like that's amazing that you've already done that at 22. I feel like I'm only just discovering that in like 24, 25. So that's so good that like at 22 you're already putting like boundaries in place.
It's just
I always do like go back to how Friends, they were all 25 at the start. I'm like, come on, I'm like, you know, this is just kind of the trial period. This is the pilot. Like,
my confession as a 20-something-year-old is I've never watched Friends.
Oh, Elle. Oh my God.
Maybe I should start.
You absolutely should.
Inspirational for my content.
It would. And so much to bring to light. Like, oh, I should talk about that. Because it's so funny, like even the books you read, and this again goes back to relationships. Humanity has not changed. You know, this is going to sound right snooty, but love Shakespeare with my acting. And I go back all the time with like my acting coach and when I'm doing auditions and go through characters and situations. Humanity has not changed. That it will never change. The relationships, jealousy, lust, betrayal, all these things have happened for years. So the fact that people find relationships the most difficult thing, of course you fucking would. You know? So it's truly the biggest thing to overcome, relationships. But going back to Friends and all these things, all these situations you can relate to. You think, oh yeah, I've been there. Or oh yeah, Katie went through that. Or you know,
that's
all these
how I
kind
felt
of things.
with Dolly Alderton's Everything I Know About Love book.
I need to read that.
Is it really good?
Every page I was like, I need to meet Dolly because this is me.
Really?
This is me. It's so good. So good. But yeah, maybe I'll watch Friends, I promise.
We'll text you in a few weeks and be like, oh,
have you finished it?
Have you done your homework? Come on. You I've organised a lot of ways to communicate with people. You know, you've got your newsletter, you have a great Spotify playlist, you have your events that we'll go on to talk about. You've just come back from a Bath retreat. Elle's also doing a Iceland retreat that's coming up. You support a lot of people, as we've talked about, online communities, even your friends. Where do you get support from?
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. I think I usually say my friends, and they're always going to be there for me. When I started Truly 20s, they were the people posting into the Facebook group, pretending they didn't know me to get it going.
Oh, I love that.
Always can go to my friends, but like more recently, like my mum and dad constantly. My mum and dad aren't together, but like I go to them for very different things. My dad's basically like my accountant because that's his job. But like I go to him about like anything career related. We speak more via LinkedIn than we do any other platform. And then my mum's just like the one I go to, like any sort of panic. I'm like, Mum, please, what do I do? Please help me. But yeah, they're always there for me. I'm very privileged in the fact that I know that if anything went really wrong, I could fall back on my mum and dad.
That's lovely.
Even at this age, like this is the thing, my parents always know I've been creative, and they know that I'm passionate about this, and the risk of it is I could have no money and like nowhere to live, but like I'm really lucky that I've got those two and I can just jump between their houses.
That's so nice.
But yeah, they are my support system.
That's so lovely. You're so close with your family.
And like this year's been like tough, like in like believing in myself, and it's been like full on like some really like big tantrums, not tantrums, like breakdowns,
or
to the point where I'm like, I can't do it. And then my dad's called me at the wrong time. I've just been like blowing my eyes out. But he's just like been amazing, and my mum's been amazing, and they just if I ring one of them crying, like because they'll catch me off guard. All of a sudden I'll get a call from my nana. How are you doing? I'm like, his dad spoke to you. No. Oh, I think he has. But yeah, they're all amazing.
That's so nice that you've got your own community. You've got your Elle community. Because you've got your Truly 20s community, but you do need your own people. And you know, we experience it with the industry we're all in, with content creating communities, musical theatre, acting. We need to know what a rejection is, and we need to be able to bounce back. If you cannot take a rejection, what the bloody hell are you doing? You know? So then you need to have your mum or your friends or your boyfriend to say, do you know what, you're fucking slaying. You know, do you know what, you're doing a really good job. And I know for me that I had a really big rejection recently, something that was really big for me, and I was like, oh my God, this is huge. And then I got rejected, and it was like okay. And now I'm a few months on, maybe 4 months on, is it? And I'm feeling better than ever. And I've learned so much from it. You know,
it's always redirection.
Oh, absolutely.
Rejection is redirection. That's my
redirection. Everything happens for a reason. Everything. You know,
they're my favorites.
Completely. How do you feel about it?
I feel like rejection in general, like some hurt more than others, but I remember it was when you speak about parental support, like I feel like I go to my mum for different things. My dad's a very pragmatic man. And I remember I went to, I had like this really big rejection, and I was like, I will never recover. I was like, life will never be the same. And he's like, okay. And he sent me this article, something about like, just take your time to kind of like sit and wallow. But then when you look at it pragmatically, you write 5 things down that you've learned from it. And then 3 things on how you're going to carry on and your positive mindset.
That's
like,
nice.
Like time does not stop.
I
always keep thinking like you just keep going. And that's with breakups, that's with like job, like workplace rejections, that's audition rejections, that's romantic rejections. Like you literally wake up the next day, you're like, okay, well that happened. And then you're like, okay,
gotta keep moving.
You gotta keep dusting yourself off.
Keep
like,
grooving.
Just one foot in front of the other.
Completely.
Absolutely.
And do you go to different people for different things? Like if I want a bit of comfort, I go to this gal over here. You know, I'm just like, hype me up. If I'm wanting like solutions, Archie's there, like my boyfriend. Like, where's your kind of support system?
Definitely. I've got my group chats like with my uni girls and my home girls. Like I probably say like the same things to each other, but there's certain people in each group that are more like I say one of my best friends called Caitlin.
Yeah.
She's so rational. Like my most rational friend ever. We always describe her like that. But like she very much will like see both sides to everything and like be able to put it into like
perspective.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Some of them are like really good with words. Like
okay.
like a little paragraph back to you. But definitely go to different people for different things.
Yeah, completely. And I think that's
I go to my friends over my family sometimes because like I'll be crying about something to do with Truly 20s and my dad and mum just don't get it. And they're like, oh, why don't you go back to take another job then? I'm like, that's the worst thing you could have said to me right now. But then my friends are like, no, power on, this is going to be great. Like, because they understand. My mum and dad are like blindly supporting me on it because they don't see where it can go sometimes.
Okay.
They don't understand like social media and it's a new kind of job.
Absolutely.
It's a new world.
Yeah. And then my friends get it and they see the potential of it. But my family are just blindly supporting me, even when they don't know.
It's the same with dating as well, like, you know, with online dating and stuff. You know, Katie talks to me about it and we get it and we talk to our girls about it and we're all like, you know, and then my mum's literally like, you could get kidnapped. And I'm like, I'm like, well, yes, but Katie, don't listen to that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's funny that you do have so many different people in your life that can help with different situations and can contribute, and you know where to go if you want the advice you want, you know,
100%. And it was even nice on the retreat. We had like s'mores and they were all, this was on the last night, everyone was really comfortable, and then they were all like, I hope you realize like what you've made. And I was like, it was all in the dark, I was like, don't girls, because we're gonna cry. And they were like, no, on like, and they were giving me support back because there's been so much self-doubt this year, like trying to go full time, like ridiculous amount, and like sometimes like I need to hear it from the community as well. So it was really nice.
Oh, that's so lovely. So we're going to go into a little game. So you have the 3 most challenging years you found in your 20s so far. And give me a little reason why, as to why it's been pretty challenging. From number 1, 2 and 3. So 1 is the biggest one. You're like, wow, that was really hard.
I would say this year of being 24 has been the most challenging. Just there's been so much going on. Like redundancy into trying to work out how to freelance, trying to make Truly 20s happen. Like my mind's been at like its wit's end at some point. Like of just trying to back myself when I really just don't have any like of that left. It's been a big mindset shift for me this year, and I've learned so much. But I mean, there's been so many great things, but it's been the most challenging year for me mentally, like to push through it. 21, I would say next. Just trying to find a job, was in working at the Nuclear Research Centre, trying to get myself out of there.
Love that.
I don't remember 20, so I'm going to say 20 because 22 and 23 were great.
I
love 22 and 23.
Love it.
Just moved to London, working at TikTok.
Love that.
I've never been happier when I was 22, 23. Oh, was I 23? Both of those years were great.
Love that.
But then this year's like been more challenging.
So we're going to say 24, 21 and 20.
Now I'm 25 now, but it's only been a few months, so I'm not counting.
So not shy. And we're going to put it to the universe. You can have a great year. So it's fine.
Exactly.
Now we're going to play Snog, Marry, Avoid with these 3 years. So marry, you have to do it all over again. From January to December. You have to do the whole year again. You have to marry it. You have to live it all the time. Do every single thing. Snog, you have to do once, like literally like one day of it. You have to go through it all. And avoid, never again. Never ever.
Even though this year's been the toughest, 24 I'd do again. It just has to be done. Unfortunately. Like I think this is just starting a business and like believing in yourself and like taking risks. Like it's been mentally tough, but I would do it all over again because it's worked. It's like working. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, so definitely would do it again. But 20 I would snog. I think I still at uni. Still like
it'll remind you what you felt.
Avoid the year at Nuclear Research.
Okay.
A living
That's
at
amazing.
home. Just that, and then I would avoid that one. And it was going into COVID, that one. So
I see. Oh, that's amazing that you do again one of your hardest. That's 100%. Amazing. I guess because you've learned so much. You've got so much out of it.
The most challenging, but the most rewarding. And but I still would put it up there. It's been the hardest year. But it's been worth it.
And I saw so much on Pinterest how that everyone always says nothing good comes out of being easy.
Yeah.
And it's so true. When you work your arse off,
people make it look
you get
easy
so
doing
much.
businesses though. Like that's the issue. Like you think it will just like happen overnight, and it's not as easy. It sometimes is easy for people.
Yeah.
People start on different levels as well, and you compare yourself.
Okay, that was great. That was lovely. Love it. Nailed it, Elle.
It's too high for me.
Yeah. She's like, the notes. Okay, take us away, Katie.
The ick theme this week is icks that you feel society puts on you to do / achieve / create in your 20s that you're like, oh God, I wish people would stop.
Okay. It's such an ick, and you can say as many as you like.
Okay. My biggest ick is just people just assuming in your 20s that when you're going to have kids. I hate that.
Ooh, yeah.
I just pretend, like, assuming everyone's going to have children. I mean, like, when are you going to have kids? That really annoys me.
Yes.
I think, not that I've experienced it, but my friends have found it and I've been annoyed for them.
Okay.
Just like people pressuring people that have been in long-term relationships. Oh, when you're moving in together, like, whoa. Like, just because someone's been together like 7 years because they've been like first loves does not mean that they need to move in. And it's like, just because everyone else is doing so.
Yes.
I
doesn't
don't
mean
have to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my third ick, which is a little bit different, is just ick of your 20s in general.
Yeah.
I hate when people say people are cringe for doing stuff that they
are passionate
about.
Yes.
Or like,
okay.
just like, for example, LinkedIn influencers. It can be a bit cringe, but people are getting so much from it. Like, just let them do it. Or like people, like you've maybe heard it, like with podcasts or starting your own communities or posting TikToks and stuff. Like, it's cringe, but sometimes, but we're getting so much out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't like.
Don't put other people down.
Yeah, don't put other people down, and never don't do something because it's cringe. Because
Yes.
if you do that, you'll not get anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
I thought about it earlier this year. I was like, oh my God, if I'm dating someone, what if they come across my TikTok? And I was like, oh, I don't care.
Oh,
it's my life.
interesting. Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
life.
But that is a part of you. That's Elle.
Yeah.
That's your experience.
And yeah, I hear it a lot with like LinkedIn, like, and my friends do like take the mix sometimes, but it's okay because I know that they don't mind. But some people really hate LinkedIn influencers.
Okay.
Yes, if it's not real, like I understand that if it's all, but like if they're posting to like get sales through, like, because that's what they need, or they need to get more followers, like I'm all here for it.
Yeah.
Okay,
You gotta
cool.
do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Have you got any icks? Because I've got one.
My ick would be people expecting you to have the thing you're going to be most known for done in your 20s.
Okay, cool.
You know what I mean? Like, where they're like,
That's such a good one.
you should have the thing you're going to be remembered for, the thing you're going to have achieved done in your 20s.
Yeah, completely.
Because I think
Because if you're like, oh, I want to do MT, and they're like, oh, so what have you done? It's like, I'm 22.
Yes.
Give me a chance.
Yeah. But then you see people online going straight, like, I mean, it's just luck of the draw, isn't it? It's like straight into these productions, straight into doing this. And I think maybe people see that and assume that's the same for everyone.
Yeah.
Like it's a universal thing. And I'm like, no, guys.
Yeah.
No. And I think they're like, oh, well, then what's the point? If you haven't done something to be remembered for. And I think that icks me out.
Yeah, that's a great ick.
What's your
ick? I get an ick from this, but I also do it myself, so I'm like, on the fence there. We have a very busy social life, and sometimes I'm literally just like, I would love to just have a weekend of nothing. My ick is when people are like, so what are you doing? What are you going to do this week? And what are your plans? What is this? And it's like, can I not just live? Can I not just chill for a second? You know, because when people are like, oh, you're in your 20s, like you're 20. Why are you not going out? You're 21. Or why are you not doing that? You're in your 20s. So, oh God, can I not sit down and I'm in my 20s?
Best years of your life.
It's really the whole pressure of 20s, the best years of your life. It's like,
not for everyone.
Not
for
completely.
everyone.
I mean, I'm a big fan of the Kardashians, and Kourtney is like going into her 40s, and she's like, I'm in the best years of my life. I'm having the best years, and you know, she's had a completely new rejig, new kind of family, new career, the kind of things she's doing. So the pressure of having to do everything
in your 20s.
Why are you not going out clubbing tonight, Elle? You're in
Yeah.
your 20s. Why are you being boring?
I actually think,
like,
I think it's quite sad to think that your 20s can be your best year of your life, because that is quite early on.
It's
of
so
your
early,
life.
yeah.
This is how I felt when I made sure your 20s. I felt like I'd peaked at uni. That's a really sad feeling. Like, you don't want to peak in your 20s.
No.
You want to have a great
You
time.
want to peak in your
but,
50s. Yeah.
We got to keep peaking.
Yeah, exactly. Make every year a peak.
Yeah.
So true. So now we're going to go into questions. So every week we always finish with a question.
Okay.
Kind of food for thought.
Yeah.
And we always do a serious and we always do a silly.
Yeah.
Okay.
This week I'm serious.
Cool.
This week you're silly question.
Love
So my serious question this week is, you have to give me one, okay?
Yeah.
And you have to blame it on your 20s.
Okay.
What is the biggest challenge you've had to face in your 20s? It has to be because you were in your 20s.
Okay. I think my biggest challenge, and it's becoming more apparent to me recently,
Okay.
has been my mindset the entire way through my 20s. My mantra is in
Yeah.
the back of my phone, and it's, if you think you can, you can.
Oh.
Because there's so much self-doubt, so much imposter syndrome. Like, the most of my like tears have been from stress or like just not being happy with where I'm at.
Okay.
In my 20s. And actually, like, that's all mindset, because the retreat, for example, I didn't want to do. I was like, no one's gonna buy these tickets. They're quite expensive. It's not like a £30 one.
Yeah.
And then Kitty, who hosted it with me, was like, just put
Did
the
I?
feelers
Yeah.
out.
Like, shit.
Different Kitty.
I'm everywhere.
She was like, just put the feelers out and see.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
don't have to do it.
Yeah.
And literally 400 people DM'd me. And I literally was like, and then when I was at the retreat, they were like, oh, Elle, will you do merch? And I was like, no one will buy merch. Like, and it was just like little things like that. And it's
Yeah.
like, all the things I've not done is because of my mindset. And I've cried
Wow.
because I've not thought I'm there, but I was there all along.
Yeah.
So I think I've
Oh.
stressed myself out more because of just my mindset.
Yeah.
And I've realised that recently, and that has literally changed the game for me. Like, I just keep thinking, if you think you can, you can. Like,
Yeah.
you can do it.
You can.
Yeah, if you think you can't, you can't.
Wow. Yeah.
But that's I got that in a fortune cookie, and I was like,
God.
oh my gosh! Like, me and my friends, we like 3 out of 4 of us got something that was like good for us.
Yes.
But I was like, mine's not even like you can just tailor it to your situation.
Yeah.
I needed that.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, what a sign from the universe.
Yeah.
Go, girl.
Right. So my silly question is, so you've talked about the 3 years that you found the most challenging in your 20s.
Yeah.
So would you rather hit 29, turn 30, wake up the next day and have to experience those 3 years again in succession,
Okay.
back to back,
Yeah.
or never experience them, go back to your 20s and just skip them?
You would have never experienced them at all.
So I'd have different years.
Wait, I'm confused.
Yeah.
So I'd have a different 2024.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Completely
But
different.
all the experience you've experienced, you would not have
I'd
experienced
do it
at
again.
all.
Yeah.
I'd do it
Oh,
again.
would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like all of it's been a lesson, and that's the only
Absolutely.
reason I've got to where I am. Like, even all the breakups and stuff, I just think
Yeah.
everything is just growth. It's not nice at the time, but
No,
Everything
it's definitely
happens,
everything happens for a reason. I really believe that.
it does.
So yeah, I would
Absolutely.
experience them all again.
Yeah, and we're all going to achieve everything we want to, because if you think you can, you can.
Yeah.
I
Honestly,
love
yeah.
that.
just it's hard.
My
to
God, I'm
change your
going to think so
mindset.
much now. I'm literally like, I'm going to be a billionaire.
But if you think you can,
I can. Yeah, I'm like, girls, fucking watch me and be Bentley. Like,
No, I genuinely think that it's hard to change your mindset, but like if you can just switch it when you're
Yeah.
like feeling like you can't do it, and to do that, then I think you can do it.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, absolutely.
oh my God, that's
We need to go
amazing.
get some fortune cookies.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so true. Thank you so much, though, for
Yes,
this. It's
thank
been
you.
absolutely amazing. I love one of the biggest reasons we've brought you on the pod was because we've had a lot of discussion about
Yeah.
bringing people on whose followers would like our followers.
Yeah.
And we felt they really
Yeah,
would.
definitely.
You know, we're all about the positivity, the mindset,
Yeah.
the growth, but also the silliness of being in your 20s
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of enjoying it
Yeah.
and being funny and all
Yeah.
this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we've just felt your energies resonated so much with us.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for taking your time to be here.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
bringing me on and coming up to me at the mixer as well. That was so sweet.
So scared.
No. No, it was so sweet, and I've really enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Elle. And guys, hope you have a great Monday.
Have a great Monday.
Reflect
Have a
on
great
these 20s.
Yeah.
Let's see what you can bring, okay?
Absolutely.
Because if you think you can, you can. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.